శ్రీకాంత్ అక్కడికి
నారాయణ ఎవరిని ప్రెజెంట్ చేయాలి?
సార్ నన్నే సార్
నారాయణ రెడ్డి.
అవును సార్.
ఓకే ఓకే
స్టార్టింగ్ నేను చెప్తున్నాను సార్ మిషన్ గురించి.
ఓకే చేంజ్.
Can you make Narayana as present?
Yes, yes.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. All. My name is Naradi. I'm the research scholar under Dr. Y. Ravikumar sir. Today we are going to explain the demonstration and printing of metal additive manufacturing process. Here we are having now I will tell you what are the various components of a mission, and we are going to I'm going to tell you the processing and preparing of a build. So this is a 3D system DMP Flex 100 we are having here. The specification of a mission is here is the build volume is 100 here is aluminum, titanium, 6 aluminum and 4 vanadium and 17.4 pH, and the software we are using here for making up a part and slicing here is a 3D Expert. The layer thickness whatever.
There is some voice issue. Please check it, Rakesh.
lag होती है एक ही ऑडियो तो डाटा तो कनेक्ट वाईफाई से कनेक्ट
Last one. Is it? Hello?
Yeah.
Is it audible, sir?
It's fine now.
Sir, is it audible?
It's audible. Fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so now the specifications I already explained a little bit, and we are using the minimum wall thickness we can produce by using this machine is 150 micron, and typical accuracy is plus or minus 50 microns is the minimum accuracy we are having. We can produce with help of this machine, and also we can use any type of material. These are the just 4 materials I mentioned here. We can use any material, whatever it may be, any metal composition which is having up to 60 microns powder particle size. We can use whatever it may be the material, and also we can make composites, any type of metal matrix components or hybrided metal matrix components we can produce with help of this machine. Now see here, this is the filter we are using here. The filter for each and every material is different. Right now we are going to print aluminum material. For aluminum is a reactive material. For that reason we are using. If you go for the steel, we will go some other filter. So we can't use the same filter for reactive and non-reactive material. For reactive materials we will separately use one filter, and non-reactive materials we will use one more filter. Okay. One more filter we will use that. Now see here, for running of this mission we need a air and as well as a gas. This is the gas supply and air supply. These two are required actuating. These two are used for actuating mechanism for running the 3D system mission. that metal 3D printer. Now I am going to turn on this gas and as well as air we are supplying. For gas is also different. For reactive materials we will use we will use argon as a argon as a gas. For non-reactive materials like steel, cobalt, we are using nitrogen gas material. So we are using both different types of gases we are using. The gas is having high purity grade of gas we are using. The purity of a gas is around 99.99% of ultra high purity gas we are using. Not commercially used. We are not using the commercially produced gas. We need to use high purity gas to get a good and part surfaces here. Now I'm going to explain the mission. And we open the gas and air, everything we opened that. Now we are going to explain the mission and the features of a mission we are having here. Now see, this is a metal 3D printer. Now this is the window. This is a window, like it is a screen which we can control with the help of our hand. Now here this is a green color is indicating that everything is good. There will, if any other like orange or red, it shows that it is having some error. We need to rectify like that. We need to understand that. All these are the different supply, carrier, centering, airlock, scrapper. These are the movement which were specified here. And this is supplying piston movement, and this arrows up and down will indicating that centering piston movement. All those things we can control with the help of this screen which are provided. The screen is very user friendly and anyone can easily operate it with help of this metal 3D printer which we are having here. Now I am going to open this metal 3D printer. Now this is the lock. Now right now it was locked. I want to open this system. Just I need to make unlock this one. Just there is a column here. This is unlock. I unlocked that. Now I am opening this mission. I'm opening this mission. Now this is the opening the mission. Now when you are opening this mission, we are having, there is a glove box. The two glove box ports are there. With these glove box ports are used to operate inside chamber. Now with the help of these glove boxes, we can access the chamber, inside chamber of a metal 3D printer, which was shown very clearly. Now I'm going to access this printer. Before that, I'm opening the one more. This is a door we are having to send any material or any. So with help of this, we'll place the build plate, powder, everything we can send through this chamber with help of this only. We don't have any extra ports. We have to supply any material or build plate or anything, screws or whatever the things required to operate the inside chamber. Those things will place inside here, and we'll close this. Like this, and I'm going to open the chamber with help of a right side glue port. I'm opening this right. See, the red color is indicating the door safety. Here there is a red color here which is indicating door is not in safety. Left door is open. Due to that reason, we are getting red color. Right door is also open. Because the right door is also open, it shows this red color. Now I'm going to open the right port. It will comes to red color, because it means that which is not in the safe condition. We don't need to operate the machine. Now I open the right port, which shows that which is open. Now inside we can see here, there is a, here we are having it is called a supply piston. See here, this is the supply piston where already we poured some amount of powder here. That is aluminum 12 silica powder we are using right now. This powder we placed inside this supply piston. And this is a sintering piston. Sintering piston, we already fixed the build plate. Sintering piston means where we made a part. That piston is called as a sintering piston. This is the piston. The dimensions of a sintering piston is 100 by 100, 100 mm length and 100 mm, and it is having 10 mm thickness. Standard build plate. That standard build. Now this is the laser. This is the laser head, which is moving. The laser inside is moving. It's not build plate is not moving. The laser head is moving here, and movement of laser head will create a path. This is the laser head. From this, we'll get a laser and interacting to the centering piston, and we'll get a path. Now, see, this is there is two holes. Here is there. We can very clearly see these are two holes. So, two holes are there. The two holes are used to collect the used powder. So here, when we making the component, only the efficiency of this machine is only around 30%. That means if you want to make a component of 1 mm thickness of a component, we need a 3 mm thickness of a powder. That means the efficiency of this machine is 33%. So here 33% means only 1/3 of a powder we are using to melt this part. Remaining 1/3 powder we need to collect it and we can use it reuse, because the powder is a very high cost. If you go for aluminum, it's around 3 kgs. If you go for titanium, it is around 45,000 rupees. So this is a very high cost. To that reason, when unused, unmelted or unsintered powder particle will collected with help of a brush, and there is a two holes. Here the two holes are having two cans, and we'll collect this material, and we will sheave it and we'll reuse. That is a post processing. I will explain you the later how we will use the powder again and again here. Now, like that, the roller. See, this is a roller. We are having, this is the roller mechanism. The roller or scraper, we can call it as. There already I show you. There is in the screening itself is indicating the roller and scraper. This roller is used to spread the powder. So here, from the depth of a roller, the purpose of a roller is used to spread the powder from sintering piston to from supply piston to sintering piston. But this mission we are using the roller to get, and high-end missions we are having a scraper. Scraper is like, it's a blade, very simple blade we are having, and the blade spread the material from the sintering piston to supply piston. So instead of roller, the scraper is having good advantage. The roller is having, very frequently we will get a roller access error, something. Those errors are which are produced with help of a roller when compared to the scraper. The scraper, the blade is the very best. When the blade is generally 3D system guys were installed for a high-end mission. That is a 350 DMP Flex 350 mission that can make a component of 300 mm length, 300 mm width. Such high component we can produce with the help of that mission. Now I am going to now this is all the things. Before going to start, now we are going to explore. So this is centering piston and sub piston and piston need to make it parallel. The both are in the same level. Because why? Because the powder has to spread by the roller. Now the powder is inside. Some there is some gap is there from the top surfaces to the roller. There is some distance below. So we need to make it bring here, and we will spread it from here to here. Now I'm going to do the actual process of a printing. Now I'm closing all this area. We need to clean that because of the lack of time. I'm not able to clean each and everything before going to print all those things. We need to clean with help of a brush. We are having already brushes inside this chamber with help of brush, and we will clean each and everything. Now I'm closing that, and I'm going to tell you the actual process of a 3D printing. Now I closed just now. See here, I closed this right side of the glove. That's what we got a green color indication. That means it's in safe condition. Now I'm closing this mission. Now I'm going to access main window. I'm pressing here. This is access of main window. Now sintering piston is somewhat distance below. Just I want to make it up. But there is supply piston is there is somewhat distance below. For that reason, I'm making to bring upward. So here the downward and upward directions indicating the supply piston. I'm pressing here. Now I'm bringing in to powders here. You can see here to bring this somewhat upward direction. Now again I need to make some 10 distance to upward. For that reason again I am pressing this upward button of a supply piston. Now I got it some both are the same level. You can see here the powder particle and powder from supply piston and sintering piston both are in the same direction, same level. The powder of powder from supply is there is a three steps while making a part by using powder bed fusion technology. This is the powder bed fusion technology. Why? Because the powder we are spreading with the help of a roller over a sintering piston and we are making it part. We're calling it as the powder bed fusion process. Now there is a three steps are there in any powder bed fusion process. That is the plate reference, powder bedding and inerting is required. After satisfying, after making these three steps, we'll go for actual fabrication. Now the plate reference means that means we need to make spring piston and supply window. There is a column which is indicating that plate number. Any plate, many billet we are going sequence of a bill plate that will indicate whether C they will ask you whether you are using the standard plate of 10 thickness. So actually we are having 10 thickness of a plate, but we don't know it is exactly having 10 thickness or not. What reason pressing? It may be having 10.1 or it may be having 9.99 something like that. In that case, this is not helpful. It's better to always click on this. I'm not using the standard. I'm not. It is having some less because I already used bill plate. It is having 9.8 thick. For the standard bill plate I'm not using. Now I'm validating. That means when I am doing the validation, the supplying piston and sintering piston both will coming to the same level. Now I'm pressing here the validate. Now it is showing that missing actuator gas. That means the gas is not open. So I'm going to open the gas. So the gas we are having here. So now I open the gas. 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 Gas is over. Now I am going to actually the argon gas which I connected, which was empty. Now I am going to connect one more gas. So already we used yesterday night we printed one build plate. For printing of a one build plate, we need a one cylinder with very high cost around 3,000, 3,400. For that reason, we are not connected a new gas cylinder. After the completion of one gas, so we are going to use other gas. No. We are opening the gas connection. Now it shows the pressure reading. Previously it was not showing less pressure. Now it's showing high pressure. Now we are doing the initialization. If any error is there, that initialization is general step you are doing before starting that. If you do the initialization, any error is there, that will overcome. Again, accelerator gas. So again, the initialization was failed, which is due to gas is not. Gas was not. Initialization. We're doing again, we are doing the plate reference. So we are doing the validation. Validate that. It's doing validate again.
Close that.
So here we can see here the roller is moving. That means it's checking whether there is any potential shock between the plate and roller. That means whether the powder is spreading or not. Everything we can see very clearly here. It's doing the validation. The roller is continuously moving. The validation will complete when build plate is touched to roller. That means shock.
The stop presenting.
Shockers.
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Shockers. Restart.
మనకి 2 గంటలు ఉంది. Connected, but credentials. You need to share the screen. Hello, Manji sir. Can
Rakesh.
Shivang to make? Can you Shivang make him as a presenter?
Yeah, okay.
అన్న చేస్తా Shivank will be the presenter.
Where you didn't get the.
Shivank.
Rakesh, is it fine?
Unmute yourself. Narayana, ma'am, unmute yourself. Narayana, ma'am, unmute yourself.
Okay. Is it audible?
Yeah, fine, go ahead.
Audible? Oh, okay. Now the next step is, so we did a plate reference. That means plate centric piston and supply piston are in the same level. Now we can see here, both are in the same level. Now we will start spreading of a powder from supply piston to centering piston. We will ensure that there is no gap between the supply and the centering piston. Actually, right now there is a bed. We can very clearly see that metal bed. That metal bed we need to fill with help of a powder, aluminum powder. Now we are spreading the powder from centering piston, sorry, supply piston, centering piston. For spreading up the powder, we are doing operation that is called powder bed process. So here we are using the in this step we are showing the layer thickness. The layer thickness means in the each time how much quantity of a powder is spreading over a supply piston. That is 30 microns. Now we are rising a powder. Powder rising means that means for spreading of a 30 micron powder, we need to rise a powder of 80 microns. Now iterations, how many iterations that you need to spread a powder, and these are the some technical specifications we are having. Now for initially, I'm spreading the powder. For that reason, how many? Now I am using the 5 iterations. Starting itself, I started the 5 iteration, and I did a set, and I am doing the validate. Now we can see here very clearly, powder is rising from the supply piston. Roller is moving back. That means each and every iteration, the powder is rising of 80 micron. After rising this for 5 iterations, the roller is trying to spread the powder. Now it's not audible. Okay. Now the 5, see here, after 5 iterations is also powder is not spreading from supply piston to sintering piston. Again we are doing powder bed option here. Again I am pressing an option of the powder bed, and again powder rising. How much can I take? Now I am doing actually 300. Previously 80 is not enough. Again we can use how much quantity that you want. I have taken 300 microns. Again you can see the operation very clearly here. For each iteration, 300 microns of a powder. Now powder is rising very clearly. You can see that after doing the 5 iterations, powder will be spread from supply piston to sin. Now we can very clearly see the roller is spreading. Again, the powder is not spreading. Very we can see very clearly. We can see that there was a gap between the powder particle is not spreaded uniformly. Again, I'm doing the operation. So we need to do now. Again, also I'm taking 300 microns rising of a powder. I'm doing again. I'm doing the iterations of a 5 iterations. I set at both of them, and I'm doing the validation. Like it is an iterative process, which is not default set by this mission. We need to do iterations, and after spreading, see very clearly you can see here. Now the powder is spreading from supply piston to sintering piston. Now roller is spreading after 5 iterations. Now it's very clearly you can see powder is spreading over a sintering piston. Again, we need to make it a little bit. Now I am going to do less quantity of the powder rising. I am doing 80. Previously we did 80. Now we come here powder bed. Now I am using the default powder rising. I am using as 80 microns. Already heavy powder is spreading over that. I am taking 30 microns. I am going for only 3 iterations. 3 iterations is required. I am not wasting the powder. I am set the 3 iterations. I am doing the validate. Now you can see here again 80 microns of a powder is rising from the supply piston and collecting over this bed, and it is spreading the roller over a sintering piston. Now powder is spreaded uniformly. I think again the powder is spreaded. See, you can see very clearly that on the build plate surface, powder particle is spreading. It is a transparent because of aluminum is a light powder, and it is also very 30 microns, very less quantity. That is 30 microns layer of a powder, which was spreaded over a sintering piston. Now there is no gap between the sintering piston to supply piston. Every entire build is spreaded with a powder particle. Now the powder bed option, that stage is also completed. Now I am going to the next step is here is inerting. So before there it shows that please be sure that lens has to be cleaned before going to inerting. That is a very important step. That is the lens cleaning. That is the lens cleaning. Now I am going to open that lens. The lens we are using here is Nd:Ag laser. The laser we are using is Nd:Ag fiber laser that we are using. This is entire laser assembly. It's very clearly mentioned laser aperture. Now I want to open this laser head. This is a very easy to operate. That laser head, I'm opening the laser head. So this is with the help of Allen key. With the help of Allen key. So now, as this is a Allen key. I'm opening now. So this is open. It was locked. Now to open this, I'm lifting. So it shows now I see this is a laser lens. I want to clean this laser lens. So I'm cleaning this laser lens. It is I'm cleaning with acetone, not with water or any other thing. Here we can clean with acetone or ethanol, whatever it may be. Both you can use for cleaning purpose. With the help of a paper towel, I cleaned it. Now the dust. So we cleaned the lens. Now after cleaning this lens, we need to close this. So for closing this, there is a lock. Already it was locked, automatic lock. I'm to unlock this head and I'm closing this. So lens is clean. Now after cleaning this, again we need to lock this lens without any disturbances during this fabrication. And so it was locked. Now I'm closing this. This is a complete laser head system. I'm closing here. Now again, main window we are going for that. Now see, this is a inerting option. There is a regulation on. That means when you are pressing the regulation on, that means gas is supplying. Now here we need to set point. There is a set point. The ppm level is there. By default, set value is 1000 ppm for printing of any material we are using here. That is a default vacuum which is created, which is required to make any metal 3D printing part. The set value I said here is 1000 ppm. That is so 1000 ppm is set. Right now inside the chamber there is a 82,000, around 80,000 ppm level of contamination is there. I need to make it bring to 1000 ppm. For that reason, to bringing from here to 1000 ppm, I am doing the inerting. That means inerting is creating a vacuum inside the chamber. Okay. So here now I am pressing the inerting option. Now inerting option is over. So I press the inerting. Now the gas is flowing. Previously it was very less quantity. Now it is showing 27.3 liters per minute. It is now gas is flowing to the chamber. Now it's showing the estimated time around. It is 42 minutes 54 seconds. That means this amount of time is required to get a inerting. So still we have to wait up to getting the 1000 ppm only. So before this much time we can't wait here. Now we will explain you on the part fabrication. So here if you want to make a print, we need to make that part with the help of a 3D expert software. Now we are going to explain Mr. Lokesh sir from Sri Rapid. He will explain you how to make a part and how to make a FAB3 file for printing of a printing on this mission. We need to make a FAB3 file. That FAB3 file will be created by the Lokesh and he will explain you by using the 3D expert software here. Now after completion of a 3D expert software, I will tell you remaining post processing and fabrication area. Thank you.
And thanks, Narayana. Myself, Lokesh, I'll introduce the slicing software for DMP 100, the printer that you just have been, visualizing so far. So 3D Expert is a proprietary software of a company called 3D System, who is well known for 3D printing. So we have uh, NIT Warangal is one of our customer who has a DMP Flex 100. So for every 3D printers, you need a slicing software where you import the file, prepare, slice it, and transport the file in a suitable format that the printer can read. So different printers has different slicing software. For metal, 3D Expert is something that is a one-time solution, what we call, or a all-in-all solution, where we have solution right from designing till post processing. In between, you can part orient, slicing, topology optimization, generative design, simulation, then slicing, and going for the actual printing. So let me show you the basics of how 3D Expert works. So first is something where we select the platform. So I'm selecting a project now, like any other normal softwares. So the options that you see in the topmost part of the tab are some 3D printing options, and here you see the DMP Flex 100 build plate. So this shows like what is the area that you can work with. So there are multiple printers. So first we select the printer depending on what printer we have. So this software is compatible with all the 3D system metal printers and EOS printers, SLM, Renishaw printers. So today we will be only looking at DMP Flex 100. So this is my printer. Then I select the size of the plate. So in this, you can also define your own size of the plate. If I want to reduce the size of the plate, I can do it. Or if I want to, you can't increase obviously, but reduce, you can definitely do it. So let me tell you why people try to reduce the bill plate. It is because in case if you are printing some part that will be machined later, so normally what they do is they reduce the bill plate. So for example, I can have a 50 by 50 plate. I'll print the part over it. I'll heat treat it with the plate. I'll machine it along with the plate and then remove it from the plate. So normally in CNC machining, if you want to hold the plate in the chuck, so you need a hard solid part because it's going to apply some pressure. So if you are applying that pressure on the part, for example, if it is an aluminum part, then there's chances of deformation, or even that part which comes in contact with the chuck can wear out. So for that reason, you can reduce the bill plate size. And the other thing is selecting the material. So there are different materials that is compatible with DMP 100. What you saw is the proprietary materials for 3D system. And it is also possible to use a third-party material, but obviously we have to develop the own parameters. So just for explaining purpose, I'll choose a random material and then select. So once I select the material, so I'm going to work on. So if you see here, material is laser formed titanium grade 23. And the next thing is I need to add a component that I'm going to work with. So for now, I'll just use a small sample, a small cube. You can use multiple any other part, but just for explaining purpose, I'm using a cube. So this is what I want to print. Cube is a very simple thing to print because you can just keep it flat on the part and then start printing it. But the thing is, first I need to give her height, a z height for the part, for the cube. Because in case if I'm printing the cube just on the plate, then I have to, remove the part from the plate, either by wire iridium or bandsaw. So I'm going to lose a part of the cube that actually is required. So the first and foremost thing we do in positioning is we increase the height. So if it is a wire iridium, then we normally give 1 mm. If it is a bandsaw, we give 3 mm. So you can see I've increased, and below you can see the red region. The other faces are of different color. Only the bottom region, which is called the down facing surface. So red means it requires supports at that region. So I'll show you, like, there'll be different color codes depending on the geometry. So you can see for up facing, down facing, that is 30, that is 30 degree. Anything below, 30 to 90 degree, it will show in yellow. So you are overhang. So we are our most concern, or we are mostly concentrating on the overhang region, because that's the region where you need to give support. Okay, so I can even change this depending on my requirement, but the default set for DMP 100 is 30 microns. For other 3D printing, you can see, it is 45 microns. But DMP 100, the reason why we are using only 30 microns overhang angle is because of the roller. The advantage of having a roller is it compacts the powder properly, so that the overhang angle, which is 45, is reduced to 30. So which is one of the biggest advantage in the printer. So once we orient, so I've clicked OK. So I've selected the position. Then we have support manager. So once we import part, orient the part, position it, then we have to support the part, because it cannot print on a just on a powder surface. So even here you can see the overhang angle is 30, and I click OK. So it creates a region depending on your input, and gives the region for supporting. So you just need to click it, and for supporting you have multiple options. So you have a solid support, you have something like a cone support, you have wall support. So normally in case if you are going for a wire iridium, and if it's a complete solid surface, we normally give a solid support. So you can see this is how the solid support is. And whenever we give a solid support, we make sure we give something like a radius. The reason of giving this radius is because 3D printing produces a lot of residual stress, and if I'm giving a sharp corner, something what you see in this, so there's a sharp corner between the plate and the part. So due to residual stress, there are chances where the part might warp in this region. So that's the reason why we normally give a skirt, so that even your residual stress is low and the heat dissipation is proper, and it doesn't fail during the printing. So this is how normally supporting is done. For explanation, I'll just show you the different types of supporting option what you can do. If I'm giving solid, I'll give a 1 mm. If I'm going for wall support or a grid support, I'll give a 3 mm height. I can delete the support. So all the options here for supporting are parametric, something that user can define by themselves. So you can see, that the pattern is changing here, and even give fragment boundaries. So once I've created the pattern, I can create the wall support. So this is a wall support, and even these are parametrics. You can change the height or the distance of the support. So you can see, I can change the intersection length, I can change the height, the piercing height. If you want to give a solid base, it's possible to give a solid base. I'll give it from the tray. So you can give a solid base as well. Or for easy removal, if you want to give a teeth kind of surface at the bottom, it's possible too. And if you want to give a thicker outer boundary, so you can give only the thicker outer boundary for the part to properly hold to the base plate. So these are something that is possible. I'll delete the pattern. There's also option where you can directly save a template. So this is something that we have already defined and saved. So you can click on the drop down. You'll get different templates. So I'll use the wall support template for this. So I've created the support just by a click. So different types of support is used for different geometries. So for normally cubes, a solid support is enough. I'll just create a solid support. Sorry, also. So once I have finished creating the support, the next process is slicing. So the reason why we have a slicing, probably you will be aware that slicing is required because 3D printing is a layer by layer process. So the machine needs a layer by layer information. So what normally happens is, depending on the layer thickness, it depends on the printer, it depends on the software, or it depends on the parameters that you normally generate. So you can slice the part accordingly. So slicing, so you have something called calculate slice. So here you can see I have two regions. One is the actual part, the object, and the next is the wall support. So for both, I have different set of parameters. For part, because it has to be completely dense, and the mechanical property also should be good. So we have a standard parameter. For wall support, anyway, it's going to be a waste. So we are going to remove it, break it. So we don't want to spend too much of time, scanning that support. So that's why wall support has a different parameter, a set of parameter where it can, scan it very fast. So in scanning, you have different options as well, wherein you can define your own parameters. So you have contour parameters, you have hatching parameters. So I'll just tell you what is contour and what is hatching. So what you see, the outer surface, the outer one layer is called contour. The hatching is something that is inside. So the infills are called hatching, and contours are called the outside region is called contour. The reason of having two parameters for contour and hatching is normally the outer surface finishing should be proper. So that's why the contour parameter is little bit, the energy used for contour parameter is little bit lower, which makes sure that the surface roughness of the overall part in the outer surface is pretty good. Inside, I need a dense part, but I'm not worried about the surface finish or the RA value. So that's why we normally have two parameters, that is contour parameter and hatching parameter. So you can see the different parameters that we have. This is the hatch spacing. So this is the type of strategy that we are using. Hexagonal is what we have the for standard material, but you can also develop a parameter for stripes or a rectangular cell. So even in this, it's completely parametric, where you can keep changing. So you can see here. So this schematic shows you like what is the changes happening. So you can have a chessboard kind of thing. You can have an alternative one. So normally you play around with this parameters. One to increase the mechanical property or density or the surface finish. So normally the OEMs, the machine suppliers, they give a standard parameter for which gives you a proper 99.5% or 5% dense part with a with a specific RA value or surface roughness value. But in case if you want to develop a parameter where you need a very high surface finish, when I say very high finish, not up to the level of machining, but somewhere you can achieve an RA value of 1 or 2 microns. So that is possible by changing parameters and things. So we also have laser parameters. So this is for the part. So I'm using 100% laser. This is in percentage. So we are using 100% laser, and you see the scan speed is 800. So for wall for support, so you can see the scan speed is 2000. I'm using the same power, but my scan speed is almost a double what I'm using for the actual part. So this is, as I told you, to not to waste too much of process time in printing the supports. So this is the parameters that you can play around. Normally for universities, for developing materials, this tool is something a very useful tool for them. So I've explained that, and now I'm going for slicing. So now it calculates the slice. In this, the layer thickness is 30 microns. So it's going to slice 30 microns each layer. So normally slicing takes a little bit of time depending on what file you are using, whether it's a CAD file or it's an STL file. Probably in case if you are well aware of 3D printing, STL is something that you frequently come across. So this software not only can work with STL, but it also can work with native CAD files. Any input from SolidWorks, CATIA, any existing CAD tool. So you can directly import, work on that, and then you can print it. So this is really helpful when you're doing DFAM or generative design, where you keep frequently changing the design and see the printing capability or feasibility. So this is something that's very useful. So once slicing is done, you can see the slice viewer. So it gives you the layer by layer information, how the laser travels. So you can see we have given the hexagonal pattern. So you can see it's an hexagonal, and you have a stitch here where one hexagonal and the other hexagonal stitches. So if you're changing to a stripe, then you'll see a stripe picture. So once this is finished, if you want to print one part, yes. If you want to have multiple, so there are two options. One is copy parts and the other is nesting. In 2D nesting, you give a minimum distance. I'll give 5 in this case, and I want to print maximum cubes that is possible. So it automatically calculates depending on your orientation and nests it automatically. Also, you can give maximum number. Say if I want 10. So it nests accordingly. So normally, if we normally when we are doing DOE kind of stuff, so you need to, like, normally you have a different set of parameters for each cubes. So in this case, we have a standard parameter for all the cubes. But in case if you want to change the parameters, you can obviously change it. Like in the same build, you can have different parameters, and then you can print it. So exactly the same way what I showed you. So once this is finished, you can save it, and you have something like send to print. And there are options where you can label the parts as well. So in order to, after printing, you need to identify the parts. It's also possible. Sorry. So I click on volume text. So I can number the parts. So from the fields. So since I've created the same part, so it's highlighting for all the parts. If you're creating like an individual part, then for individual parts you can label it. I can even change the font size. So I've engraved it. You can also do it the other way. So this is an engraving. You have protrusion, sunken protrusion. So I can even print something on the tray. The protrusion. I can change the height as well. So once this is done, I'm sending the part for printing. So it saves the whole file with the slicing option with a format readable by the printers. So different printers read different format. For DMP Flex 100, it's a FAB3 file where you see the save the FAB3 file. You can directly send it to the printer through a LAN or use a pen drive where you can say put the FAB3 file and start the build as previously Narayan was explaining it to you. So that's it about 3D Expert. So that's it from That's it from my side.
Okay, sir, is it completed?
Yes, Srikanth, it's completed.
Yeah, thank you, Lokesh, sir. So, okay, we will move on to post processing and the machine setup once again, so that we will see the printing process and all those things.
So thank you. Hello. So thank you, Lokesh, sir. Now, so now still anything time is mentioned. Estimated anything time is 10 minutes is there. And here. So am I audible?
Yes, sir,
Audible?
you are audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now, again, see here, the estimated time is showing again 9 minutes. So we are not going to waste the time. I will tell you the post processing process here. We are move on to the post processing section which we are having here. These are the post processing unit we are having. The basic post processing unit only. Now these are the various equipments we are having. Bandsaw, power shaver, muffle, furnace, short pinning. So these are the various post processing units, and I will tell you one by one. Now, now see this. This is the part which were printed yesterday. Again, the same part we are going to print right now. The same part we are doing the post processing.
No,
Here, this was printed. Hello. So we are printing here now. See, if you see the surface here, there is a unsintered powder particle which is sticking onto the fabricated parts as well as a build plate. Now we are removing this unsintered particle with the help of a vacuum cleaner. This is the vacuum cleaner we are having here. With help of this, I'm switch on this vacuum cleaner. Now I'm taking off. So unsintered powder particle. Now, so we are operating. Now, so we remove all unfiltered powder particles from the surface of a build plate. This way. Now, see, this is a build plate. This is a fabricated part by using this machine, and we removed unsintered powder particle. So, and also this is the surfaces, the smoothness of a surface finish. Now again, we will improve the surface finish of this part, this fabricated part, by using the sand blaster we are having here. This is the sand blaster we are having here. With the help of the sand blaster, we can improve the surface finish produced from the metal additive manufactured part. Now I am opening this sand blaster. This is the chamber. Inside the chamber, now I am placing inside this chamber fabricated. I placed a fabricated part inside, and I am closing this. Now we are operating this. Now we are operating. Where's up? Now inside we can see here. So I will. Okay, I will switch. I'll switch on this. So like this. So with the help of a glove port, again we are having two glove ports here. With the help of a glove port, so we can just take a part. This is a nozzle, which are a compressor nozzle. In this compressor nozzle, we are having the nozzle. From this nozzle, we'll supply abrasive particle. Like abrasive particle we are using here. These aluminum powder particle, and this is a blue color is indicating that compressed air. Now compressed air is coming from the blue color pipe, and abrasive particle coming from this white transparent pipe. So here abrasive particle as well as a gas both are coming with help of a conversing nozzle and high compressed air along with abrasive particle. See here, along with see, we can see here abrasive particle which is coming from here, as well as that gap, a compressed air which is coming here and which is hitting the surface. Now see, this is the, so like this. Now I'm flowing compressive particle along with hitting the surface. When it is hitting with a high impact load, the surface finish which might be improved. It induces a compressive load on the surface of a part and improve the surface finish of this part. So like that, we need to make it the process. Will continue until getting the good smooth appearance of a fabricated part. So with the help of the sand dust, we can improve the surface finish of a part. Now I'm removing. Just I'm not doing continuously. Just I'm removing this, removing the part. I'm removing the part from the chamber, and I will show you. So this is the part. Actually, we have not done completely. It will take around 10 to 15 minutes. Just I demonstrated. Now previously it is having complete black color, complete gray color. Now it is having some white appearances there. That means any unsintered particle which might be removed with help of high compressive gas as well as a abrasive particle, the surface finish is improved by measuring with the help of a surface roughness measurement equipment only. Then only we can identify that whether it is improved or not. Obviously, it will be improved by when we measure. Now the next after that, from this fabricated part, because of laser additive manufacturing process, high residual stresses will be produced. So before going to application, we need to remove the residual stresses which were produced during this metal additive manufacturing process. For that reason, to remove the residual stresses, we are using the muffle furnace here. So this is a muffle furnace we are having here. The Nebart, the German-made muffle furnace. Here, this is the inside chamber of a furnace. With the specification of this machine is it can be heat from 30 degrees to 3000 degrees. 30 degrees to 3000 degrees. So heating rate we can vary, as well as heating rate we can change with either degrees per minute or degrees per second or degrees per hour. These are the options which we are having here. Now, the generally heat treatment process consisting of 3 steps, as we know, that is the heating, soaking, and cooling. These are generally we are using 3 steps here. Now, this is a part just I am taking one of the part. Just I am telling how we are doing. This is a fabricated part. This part will place inside this chamber, and I'll switch on this machine. So I'm switch on that. So after that, pressing here, it's a very user-friendly furnace we are having here. This is the display which shows here, and these are the controlling options. Now, so like this, see, this is the program. Programs we are having. Program start. We can press this start. So, which is indicating that there is some display which shows that P01 means program, S01 is segment. Generally, we are having 3 segments, that is heating, holding, and cooling, and all these processes which are very clearly displayed. Now, I want to change this program. If I want to change, this is the controller. Pressing this controller only, active change program, change the program. Now we can change, however, in the research point of view, it is very useful to heat treatment process. Now we can change the segment 1, segment 2, segment 3. These 3 segments, the temperature we can control. Temperature we can control. Now, like that, we can change the temperature, everything according to your research point of view. We can use this furnace. Now, this is the furnace we are having. Now, after heating, after removing the residual stresses from the part, now we need to, this is the part which generally I'm telling that after doing the residual stress heat treatment process, I need to remove these parts from the build plate. Generally, we will give a support structures, as Lokesh sir said that we will place we will print a component with the help of a support structure which can be removed very easily. So those support structures will remove with the help of a bandsaw, simple bandsaw we are having here. And this is the bandsaw which we are having here, which is used to remove the parts from the surface of a build plate. Generally, we are having, this is the head, and this is the build plate. We'll fix this build plate to this head, and we will remove the simple parts by using. So like this, this is a very easy to operate. These parts will remove from the build plate. Like this, we will remove this build plate. This is the bandsaw generally used to remove the particle. Next important equipment we are having here, that is power shear. The power shear, which is a very, very important in the post-processing unit section. Why? Because already I told you that the powders used in a metal additive manufacturing is a very high cost. So due to that high cost, we already I told you. These are high parts, so we will reuse this powder particle again and again. But so this is the powder particle. So here is the shearing mission. In this shearing mission, they're having 2 chambers or 2 plates. One is a lower plate and upper plate. In upper plate, we will place powder. This is a powder particle. This is a powder which will place inside the upper chamber. So, after placing the powder particle, and we'll tight this. Now, so here this is we'll place this unsheathed powder particle. We'll place into the upper chamber. Now, so the main operation of the shearing here is we require a vibratory motion. So for vibratory motion, we need to make the time of vibration and amplitude of vibration. I am setting here for some time and amplitude of vibration. I press the start. Now the machine is vibrating. Now I can sense here. It may not be audible to you, but it is vibrating with an amplitude. So it's showing here. It is just I placed some plastic plate, which is moving due to the vibratory motion only. Now it is vibrating due to the heavier vibration. The powder particle, unsintered powder particle, will be cleaned, and we can get this powder particle into below this chamber. This below the chamber, we can collect this powder, and this powder will be reused. For any powder particle, we need to make reusing. We have to use the powder shearing. So just I'm stopping here now. So this is the powder after completion of this process. This is the powder which were collected. This powder is just a few amount of a powder, reused powder. So that reused powder, when you are again, if you want to use again into the metal printer, that powder particle will be need to. So after collecting the reused powder, that powder particle we need to make oven. Why we are keeping the oven here? Some moistured powder, moistured or any other particles which are presented on the powder, we need to remove that moisture content in this powder. For removing its moisture content, I am placing into the furnace, and I will do some heat treatment, some heating. Okay. The powder I will preheat the powder some certain temperature. Generally, I am taking here is 80 degrees. 80 degrees of powder preheating I am doing here. This green color is indicating the target temperature. Right now, white color is indicating this present temperature inside this oven. After reaching this 80 degrees centigrade, I will preheat according to our requirement. Right now, we are using for 8 hours preheating of a powder before inserting the powder particle into the oven machine. According to your requirement, you can preheat the powder and you can reuse it again and again. So the main process of a used powder is here. We are using the sequence of operation, collecting the powder from this. So the sequence of reused powder, generally we are using collecting the powder from the 3D printing machine, and that powder particle will make it to the sheaving, and after sheaving that we'll keep it in the oven for certain amount of time period according to your requirement. Again, this powder will be into the machine after printing. Again, after printing, we will remove the. After printing, again we will clean this build plate by using with help vacuum cleaner. After vacuum cleaning, we'll do this furnace. We'll do the heat treatment for removing the residual stresses, and again we'll remove and again we'll cut this part. So again we'll cut this part. This is the sequence generally we are following here. These are the various equipment. Now we'll move on to the actual printing of our machine, our part. Now anything. So see again 3 minutes of time is showing. Actually, it is not a default time. It's because of filter is on. It's each and every time the time is increased. It's not a original time which is showing here. Again 300 ppm. I need 1000 set point 1000 ppm. Again 200. It need to come to down 200 or 300. It's fluctuating. Again, it's taking 2 minutes only. In meanwhile, the 2 minutes, if you have any doubts regarding to here, you can ask me. I will tell you the doubt regarding to here. Only 2 minutes of time is there. After that, we'll start printing. So before that, now we are move on to the file.
Shivam? Am I audible? Okay. Yes, sir. So, dear participants, almost we are at the end of this lab session. So, after giving this keeping level, like we are removing the oxygen from the container, whatever this build platform, build chamber, from the build chamber, we are removing the oxygen. That is what this 1000 particles per millimeter. So, we are almost this is the set point. Now, we need to, the next step is, we need to load the file. Like this file for the location, we did it, right? So, we done it in yesterday only. So, first we need to open. Now the file is loaded here, right? Here is the part file. You can see this Redmi volume of file. So after loading it, you need to click on the build layer. So you need to continue. Okay. Some error. So that you can visualize the display of number of layers. So you can see this is the cubed cubes we are giving. So these cubes are located on the build plate as per the design guidelines. So you can see how many layers, number of layers is 367 layers. We are going to train, and this is the first layer, and it is a solid surface. We want to check the some part display, so you can see, and you can see the hatch patterns are also visible here. Maybe not. Is okay. You can see here. Now this is the manufacturing panel. In this manufacturing panel, we can see this progress from here, and this is a project information. The number of layers, and the estimated powder height. If we keep the powder inside the supply piston, a less amount of powder we pour, so that the machine will automatically warn you that the powder is less, so we can't go further. So before starting the printing, it will tell you. So we have a facility like that instruction we came from this system. The software is like that. So first, the number of layers is like 366 we had, and we need to layer and then center. Let me remind this powder bed fusion principle. We have what? Uh, is this video clear? Dear participants, anyone can respond. Mute yourself.
It looks like a blur.
Getting blur,
Some
sir.
sort of blur is
Blur.
yes. We are almost at the end. Yeah. Fine. That manufacturing table you may not visible. Okay. Some sort of it is glaring actually. That reflection is coming. Yeah. Still, I will guide you here. It is not much. I will inform you here. So this is a manufacturing panel here. You need not to begin this, but we'll keep it here. So now you can see how is our process is going on. This the left side is a supply piston and the right side the bill plate, that is centering piston. The layering done by this. So now I will start the cycle by layering. So the process was started. I initialize it. First I will click on the layer. After that, the centering is started. Now the laser is etching on the centering plate. Now you can see the laser spot diameter. It's having a 80 micrometer. Because of this continuous path, you can see a path. We are using this aluminum powder and it is having energy density around 60. Okay. Joules per energy. Energy density is an important factor in this. So the initial layers we are focusing to, we need to go for the double because due to this residual stresses and heat accumulation happen in this part, so the residual stresses may generate. So due to that, the delamination happened. So the first 5 layers, I need to go for the double sand. So this is the double sentence. You can see the first during the first sentence, the spattering. Spattering means while pointing, the spattering will come out. And, you can say the particles, unwanted particles are beside the laser scan part. So those spattering is very less during the second scan, but it is very high during the first scan. We should note that. Okay. Later, we need to go for the second layer is taken. The roller is the powder and then in that. Now that is the spatter. During the first layer sintering, okay, the spatter is coming out very high. Now this is a second layer double time I am giving. So this is double centering. So the spatters not coming very high during the second. So these spatters, why we focus here? These spatters are the main to raise this porosity and then roller obstruction and then residual structure. So we need to minimize this data. Layer in third layer, then first sentence. So this is how the process is done. Like we'll continue. So just we are in the third layer. Up to 5 layers, we will go for the double sync manually. After that, the software will automatically take it. Then it will layer it and then it will center it. When I have given fourth layer manually, so the initial layering was done. So now we can continue this. Up to this basic section. So now the system is in automatic mode. Previously, the clearing layers were in the hello. Yeah, the initial 5 layers were the manual mode. After that, the system will take the automatic mode. Will prevent it. So thank you. So this is how the metal printing will start, and then we will show you the images for this printing, like how the path is being. We'll share the images in the group here. So this is metal 3D printing. Standard, and which is having a build volume of 100 by 18. So we are using presently aluminum material, but we use stainless steel also. So chromium and titanium materials are available. So thank you. Thank you. So now the questions are open. Like if any participants wish to ask.
Thank you, Rakesh. And participants, if you have any queries, please unmute yourself and ask the queries.
There is a question in the chat box.
No, actually, yeah, Rakesh, sir, I can answer.
Yeah.
Actually, it is a proprietary and we cannot have any student version or it's not possible to download. 3D expert we have to buy, then only we can able to install and we have to use that software. Even there is no freeware or student version available for the 3D expert.
No, these are proprietary, say, softwares. So that will work only for that machine and the make. They actually still this is not open to the. But once upon a time, polymer printing also like that. But still, metal is not gone to that stage. Definitely, it will take at least some time to reach to the open source level. But still, it is under the proprietary domain, but it is not under open domain. But maybe in future we can expect that kind of open sourceness in these softwares also. But right now, it is more costly and the proprietary nature of these softwares as far as this 3D print, metal 3D printing is concerned. But polymer, you already know that you have DIY kind of a printers in FDM and DLP based systems, which you can have all these freewares. You already worked on the Cura and other softwares, but still this metal printing is not to the that stage. It will take some time to reach that. So another question has come. No, actually here there are both the model and support material supports are the same material. You don't have a chance to vary the material here. Why? Because this is by nature, it is a powder bed system, but you can make some metal matrix kind of, you can mix the powder by these particles that way, but basically you don't have any option to go with a different material to print with support as a separate material and model as a separate material. No, so it will be done with the same single material for both support as well as model. Is that is your question? Yeah, model and support is the same material. You don't have say use a different material. So that may be possible even you work with other configured machines, but powder bed, you have a possibility to mix the powder with your metal matrix kind of things which you can do it. But model and support, but you have only one powder bed, no? You cannot, if it is a DD system, you may have a flexibility to introduce different material and different composition from your nozzle. But here it's a fixed, this is a powder bed kind of configuration. Yeah, we do appreciate for your questions. Any other questions you have in your mind? No more questions, then we have to appreciate the efforts by the Rakesh and Narayan Reddy and Srikanth for giving a demo. Then if it had been an offline, then altogether it's a different story. But because of online, and they tried a lot to give a demonstration on this machine, the great difficulties of this online. But anyway, I hope you got some idea what we are doing in our lab. Yeah, anything else you want to interact, you can very well interact with us. And otherwise, we'll conclude the session. And by posting these questions, now if you conclude this session, the metal printing session, then we'll post the questions for your daily test. So this is the last test for today. And we have only one session left out, that is on stress management. So this is the last technical, or in fact, the last test for you to get your certification and things like that. So I think got the questions here in the chat box, so you can answer your questions. And you can as well post in the WhatsApp group also. You can get the same thing in a WhatsApp group also. Somebody is missing with some connectivity issue and other online problems, even they can access through WhatsApp group that we have pasted the same link in the WhatsApp group also.